everyone. I'm the moderator Dora in this panel discussion. Today we are going to talk about Eastern and Western education and career. In Taiwan, most of children have to enter elementary school while they are 7. But why are most of children, not every child? Homeschool, known as home education, has been developed for about 20 years in Taiwan, and it has been established since 16th century in Germany. More and more parents choose homeschool to replace the traditional education system. Take Taiwan traditional system for example. The learning rest is from 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Gym class, art class, and even the self-study time is replaced by subject classes such as math, science classes. The classes, there are 8 classes a day, and 5 classes are for tests. The normal classes are ended at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but students have to stay until night for self-study or night classes. And the other students, however, they have to go to cram school for talent or reinforcing subjects. Suffering those tests and the lessons after school, students finally get into working place while they have those themselves. What's your opinion, Sam?
Hi everyone, I'm San from Group 5. Today I'm going to talk about school hours are longer than work hours. We can look at this picture first. After comparing the school hours in other countries, we can find out that Taiwan school students' school hour is longer than other countries. So let's talk about the myth. Well, learning longer have more achievement. In the United Daily News, there was a news. In Asia, the more time learning in school, the more competitiveness that students will have. Furthermore, the World Economic Forum indicated that the measurement of the competitiveness in Taiwan are from the education and the innovation. It's obviously helpful for the competitiveness in Taiwan that we have the perfect education and is that true that learning, let's talk about the fact about this myth. Taiwan is the highest rate of enrollment around the world, but according to the statistics, students in Taiwan spend 1,050 hours at school. It's more than Singapore, which only spent 903 hours, and Japan, which spent 1,005 at school. Same as the Asian powers, such as Japan and Singapore. The time students spend in learning is less than Taiwan. Furthermore, they also surpass over Taiwan and have more strong competitiveness. So let's look at the influences that if our students go to school so early. In adolescent time, hormone secretion changes violently, which will also affect our biological clock. However, because of the current education system, the students' school time tends to meet parents' work time. This situation causes that the students have to stay up generally and get up early, which brings about a lot of problems, including getting angry easily, anxiety, or the lack of learning motivation. According to a disease prevention center, sleeping is very important to the students. Without enough sleeping, the rate of obesity,
Smoking, alcoholism, and drug abusing will increase.
so let's look at the research about the getting enough sleeping. In the north of England, have proved that a class in Monsignor Dayton High Schools, the students started class at 10 o'clock. And according to this research, which was done by a professor at the University of Oxford, the biological clock of the student is slower for 2 to 4 hours than adults, and forcing them to go to school early and study is less effective on the whole. It's better for students to go to school late and learn with a clear mind. That could make the highest effect. And in more than 1 year test, students who stock up on food and get plenty of sleeping time, are sane and have graces in study. Also, the number of absenteeism and late arrivals decline. So that's our conclusion. We consider that the class hours in Taiwan are really longer than other countries, but perhaps we have learned much knowledge than them. While the learning hours of other countries are less, the achievements are not worse than Taiwan students. The point is, if it's a pity if school time takes up most of Taiwan students' lifetime and make them unable to do what they like, or force them to give up their leisure time. Maybe such a long learning time make us absorb much knowledge and improve the quality. However, students may not be happy. Therefore, using reasonable time to make students absorb knowledge indeed is most important of all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. And what a workman without his tool. The best way to save a problem is to find the source of errors. If our government don't release the rules of the education system and our parents keep overdriving children to learn in limited time, it will cause a bug. We must find a proper way that can get balance between reality and ideal. Higher education gets more emphasis in Taiwan, but vocational education, however, stands an important role for Taiwan economic competition. Government policies do pretty much unfair decision between higher education and vocational education. What will those policies cost, Luis?
Hello everyone, I'm Luis and I come from Group 6 and my topic is vocational education and competition. The vocational education has stronger connection with country competition. For example, in the America, the California Institute of Technology and MIT. And in Germany and Australia, those countries has excellent vocational education to rise their competition of country. On the other hand, Taiwan has a lot of university of technology, but people don't really care for the vocational education. How to break the discrimination? The principal of National Taiwan University of Science and Technology said the only way to create the better environment for vocational education is break the gap between the higher education and vocational education. In Taiwan, most people think that everything is below study. This point made out the idea is the vocational education is the second option for those who are good at study. If you are good at study, you must choose the higher education. Meanwhile, the policies made the vocational education lose its orientation. Actually, in the early years, the vocational education not only pushed the Taiwan to achieve the economy miracle, even create many managers and enterprises. Nowadays, due to the Minister of the Education prefers to higher education than vocational education, this is why the discrimination comes from. Unfair to vocational education. The fund for vocational education and higher education is quite different. According to the weighted edit, each student average can get the 237,000 for teacher and equivalent in the common university. But University of Technology, each student just can get 160,000. Also, there are some problems about the enrollment. The general university just offer about 3,400 vacancies for vocational students, especially top schools such as Taiwan University, Chenggang University, so on. It's merely offer 3 to 6 vacancies. Nevertheless, University of Technology offers about 11,200 vacancies for high school students. This is included for vocational students because there are much more students have economic problem. If you know about how the developed countries work their education policy, whatever they come from which system, their salary and social status are equal. If government wants to resolve this problem, the Ministry of Education should distribute the fund in the equal way. Instead, two education system is tending to simulation, so it's possible to they can cooperate in the future. By this way, it can create more competition to learn students who come from other fields can cross to learn others. Teacher without working experience. The vocational education also have a seriously problem is the knowledge, which is learning of this generation. The main point is almost teachers don't really have the working experience. They just teach students the theory. Theory can really help students what exactly they need in the work. In order to change this problem, the legislature revised the law. The vocational teacher should enter in the business for 18 hours, and the teachers of major subjects must work in the related company for 1 year. Then keeping research every 6 years to strengthen their expertise. Rise of Nanyang Technology University. In the 2015, the Asia of College and University ranking, the Nanyang Technological University is the fourth. Also, in the Youngs of University ranking, which is found in less than 50 years, and Nanyang is the best one. Those achievements are due to their special course. Their classes have strong connection with the inter. These kind of courses are playing a big part in their study life. Before senior, it requires each student have to have inter work at least 6 months. They also have to enter over the 10 weeks in the summer vacation. If Taiwan wants to create the more talent, the school and government people want to be change their thinking about education. We can change the policy, locate what should vocational education be, raise the teachers' working experience, strengthen the training, and make the connection between school and companies to make our education has a big progress. Thanks.
Thank you, Luis. And so far, we know that Taiwan education requires more academic experiences, while ignore the technique theory. Peter's group have discovered both American and Chinese educators got the consensus on their educational theory. But why do people in both countries have different academic performances? Why?
Good morning everyone, and I'm Peter from Group 7. And today I'm going to talk about the difference between American education and Chinese education. As we know, this issue has been widely discussed since a few decades ago. But however, there's still some learners admire the American education rather than the native ones. So what is the uniqueness of American education and why it is appreciated by so many learners? So in order to realize more, I accept to apply the country of America and China, two countries, as the representation of Oriental and Occident. So let's see the difference. Ruby, please tell me the opinion. Yes. From 2 minutes 55 seconds. Yes, you can see in the video. In Chinese education system, Chinese people's teaching goal focus on the knowledge rather than the students' creativity. While in America, the American focus more on the creativity than their knowledge. On the other hand, before we enter the college, in my senior high school or even elementary schools, our schedule are well arranged by the schools, which means our students seems like a product manufacturer in the standard operation procedures with the regular but boring life in the following few years. While in America, students can have more time to arrange their leisure times. So this may subsequently affect their learning state. As you can see in the clip, the student in China's learning state is passive and very tough. However, in the American student learning state are active and they have an interesting life. And here is the things: a group of researchers do the experiment to test what will happen in the American school and the Chinese school. And let's assume that we are in the writing class, and let's see what will happen. In American, the solution is similar to our department. I believe all of you have the experience of having the writing class in Joseph class. First of all, we will read the articles and divide into a few groups for discussion. And after the few minutes discussion, we will start writing. However, in the Chinese class, as the class begins, students will take their seats for writing, and they will spend the whole class for finish their articles, because all they care about is how soon and how well they will do in their class. So, what's the problems? Actually, since few years ago, America and China has gotten the consensus of the core value, and their core value is the student center, which encourages students to can have more interaction to each other or more sharing. But now that both of them have the same core value, how come the results are still totally different? Actually, the biggest problem is the action. In American, this is what happened in America. A student can have more conversation with their family, friends, or any other people because that's the culture. However, in the China, in the class, you can see the most of the speakers are still the teacher, not student. So what's the conclusion? I just want to say that the left teacher means if you have an idea in any circumstance, don't just say it, please do it, because Chinese education, China has more concept, but the biggest problem is they just say it, they never do it. In short, they never change. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Peter. In Peter's video, it says the heavy load of learning in China is a good way to enter a good college, but not for real life. The unemployment rate of college graduates keeps rising. However, we can see hundreds and thousands of recruitment on job bank. What's going on between the employers and employees? The enterprises express the graduates are lack of social experience. And in the first 3 months or more than 3 months, the managers have to train the staffs as they are inexperienced and even though they have learned those stuff in their major. Obviously, we are lack of experiences, and does everyone have the same problem? And does each education have this defect? Lin, show us how does German beat this problem.
Hello, I'm Lin from Group 4, and today I'm going to talk about education system in Germany. Before talking about this topic, I want to share some information about unemployment rate. If there are too many people being unemployed, there will cause serious public question. And however, it seems that Germany doesn't have to worry about this problem because you can see Germany has the lowest rate among those countries. Yeah, and moreover, the minimum wage is higher than other countries. We all know that in Taiwan, we earned 120 NT dollars each hour. And in Germany, the minimum wage in there is 310 NT dollars, is higher than Taiwan. Yeah. And what makes Germany so competitive? Well, one of the biggest reasons is because of their education system. Some people call it sandwich plan, and more people call it a dual education system. It combines two things in one course. One is apprenticeships in a company, and the other is vocational education at a vocational school. Simply speaking, it means a German student might go to school on Tuesday and Thursday, and the other days he will go to the company. And the student might grab knowledge from school and teachers, and he applied what he learned from school to the company and factory. And I prepared a little short video for you. It is Chinese version.
台湾青年失业率13%，毕业就失业成了大学生的梦魇。在德国，青年就业率不是问题。在欧债危机之下，德国青年失业率还能维持7%，很大一部分的原因来自德国双轨继职教育的成功。双轨继职教育简单来说，一轨是学校，另外一轨就是企业，由两方一起打造出让学生从学校跟业界无缝接轨的继职教育。首先，由德国政府制定规范双轨教育的法规，保障继职学生的工作权益，包括不能少于1/3基本薪资的津贴以及健保。企业呢，就负责把大笔的钱投资在学生的身上。每年，德国企业撒出白花花230亿欧元培训这些学生。可别以为这种花钱的事情没人想做，德国有超过1半的企业参与双轨教育的计划。最后，透过德国的工商总会规划各地的学徒制度，以及举办证照考试。在德国有60%的学生都选择继职教育，从美发业、园艺到精密工业，超过300种的继职教育课程任你挑选。德国人在10岁小学毕业之后，就按照成绩被分发到不同的学校。成绩好、对研究有兴趣的人进入以上大学为目标的文科学校，其他的学生则进入继职教育中的主干学校或者是实科学校。选择继职教育的学生，16岁开始到企业当学徒，他们一周有3到4天到公司接受培训，剩下来的时间则回到学校学习理论。3年的师徒制结束之后，学徒得参加证照考试，考试内容实务跟理论一样重要。而通过考试的学生当中，大约有1半会成为公司的正式员工。
要是继职学生读到一半，发现自己其实比较想读大学，可以透过就读夜间文科中学取得大学入学的资格。此外，如果觉得10岁就要决定方向实在太困难，学生可以就读5年基础课程之后，才需要决定未来要往学术或实务发展的实科学校。在德国有了完善的继职教育，人人都能在产官学的扶持之下，成为各专业领域里最顶尖的人才。
Yeah, and that's all. And I make a table to compare the difference between Taiwan and Germany. You can see that enterprises in Germany cooperate with DIHK, but in Taiwan, enterprises cooperate with school, which means if the school doesn't cooperate with the company, like Apple or something, the students will have less chance to get internship in that company. And for the salary part, enterprises have to give the students over 1/3 minimum wage in Germany. But in Taiwan, students might have no pay during internship. And for the period, Germany students have 3 years to work as internship in a company, but normal students in Taiwan only have about 1 year to be internship. So Germany education system is complete to train students to be independent. That's why Germany is so successful. Thank you.
See, different education system can make students different. Yet our education system does something honorable also. Do you know Taiwan got first place on rate of school enrollment? And do you know our literacy also ranked #1 in the world? Are you convinced by the defect of our education system, or do you want your children to be tamed? Based on the aspect which everyone on stage just mentioned, our education system is sick, but it creates students day after day. Do you want more change? Then change yourself first, because you will be parents and you will change life. Thank you. This is our panel discussion. Okay, this is question time. Do anyone have any question? Please raise your hand. Yes, next.
Peter, I want to ask you that do you think Taiwan students are suitable for American educational system?
I think it depends on the student's personal favorites, because in my opinion, I think I prefer American education because I didn't want to. I think because I really want to make use of my time. I think time is really important to me.
Okay. And so, now Taiwan students are used to it. I mean the school hours. Do you think students can get benefits if we really diminish the school hours? Do you think students? Yeah. So. Do you think students can get benefits if we really diminish the school hours?
I think as the research that have more sleeping hour can really help them in study. So I think it's useful for them. But however, it's related to parents' work time because parents have to take their children to school. So I think maybe the Ministry of Education need to find a way out to help parents and children.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, Louis, in Taiwan, lots of people choose to study in vocational school system. Do you think this is a good phenomenon?
Actually, I don't have idea because I see different students have different backgrounds, so I can judge it's good or not.
Thank you. And do anyone have another questions? Yes.
Alright, let me share an example about Asian parent in America. Alright, so maybe some student here say, wow, they are eager to be in the American system, but this is how it goes when their Asian parent took their children to America. Then you can see that in California, there is a street that's full of cram school. And those cram school is because of the need of Asian parents. So you see, because Asian parents, they want their children to be the number one in any kind of situation, so even they immigrate to America. But in California, you can see there is a street, they are full of cram schools. See? So I mean, it's the core value of parent, especially Asian parent. You can see like in Korea, the pressure, student pressure is very high. In Hong Kong, the same. In China, the same. So the problem lies in the parent. If we, or like we are this generation, we didn't change our value, then the school system cannot be improved, right? So I think it's not about the core problem is about the parents. What they think, and they will support the system. Or like for example, Aishan talked about, she wants to decrease the school hours, but you can see that parents, they are just working hard to earn more money, and then they're students, even they only got 7 hours or like 5 hours in school. Then in the morning time, they took the student to an agency, and then go to school, and then go to another grade school. So this is how Asian parent goes. So it's actually the core value still goes in parents. Yes.
Thank you, Chanel.
So, can I give some feedback?
Sure.
Okay. Is it possible for us to go back to the first slide, the first PPT? Aishan's PPT, right? Okay. Next one. The next one is a fact about the school hour. Oh, okay, here. Okay, so for this school hours, is it per week, per month, or per year, or in a lifetime?
I think it's per year.
It's per year. So you have to put per year, right? You have to express these school hours in a clear way. And how about next slide. Can you scroll down the slide?
Next slide.
Yeah, inference, right? Next one. Okay, we don't say inference about going to school early. We say the inference on something, right? We say the inference on something. So you have to be careful about the idea you express. And also, for the next slide. Okay, I'm not sure the biological clock of teenagers is slower for 2 to 4 hours than adults. What do you mean by slower?
就是那个小孩子的生理时钟比成人的还要慢2个小时。
So it's late. It's late, right? It's not slower.
Yeah.
It's late. So you have to pay attention to the words you are using. And how about next slide? Okay, what do you mean by perhaps with their much more knowledge?
也许我们其实是比那个外国的学生学更多的知识，因为我们上课时间比较长。
So when you have a comparison, then you have to say perhaps with them much more knowledge than international students or than somebody, because you are making a comparison, right? So you have to say then. And also, how about the absence? You talk about the absence, right? Next slide. Do we have the absence? Okay. What do you mean by the number of absenteeism? So it's the absence. Okay. So then, how about Louis' presentation? Okay, in Louis' presentation, I think it's better for Louis' group to collect data from different articles, not just talk about the data based on one article. Then this shows that your group is very subjective. Like Louis just read aloud to the audience without have a eye contact or have a pause to raise our audience interest or motivation to know the topic, right? And also, like teachers without working experience. Can you go to the slide? And we say teachers have no practical working experiences in industries. Do you want to express this? 老师都有工作经验，老师不可能没有工作经验啊，他只是没有在产业界 ，right? So you have to say teachers have no practical working experiences in industries, right? And next slide, you talk about 南洋理工大学，刚好我去过这个学校访问哈。So we don't say the best university. How can we say? 请问有没有永远的第一名？有没有永远的第一名？没有。所以 in English you have to say one of the best, or the one of the most important. 你一定要这样子，这样才是客观嘛 ，right？ 好。So for the third panelist, compare the education between Germany and China, right? American education and Chinese education, right? So you have a comparison table, okay? So you say focus on knowledge, right? How about the second one? Focus.
Oh, focus on creativity.
Focus on creativity. 好，所以创意重不重要？非常重要。所以应用外语系才会有那一组叫文创商务沟通组。文创 that means you combine your background knowledge with your creativity to create some products in the future, right? 好，那在讲 sandwich education 的时候，有一点点错误是 serious social problems。要讲出 serious social problem, it may cause a serious social problem for the high unemployment rate, right? 好，这个德国教育会成功跟美国教育会成功，都在于我们每一个人的观念 ，our perspective for education。因为我们如果现在原来的框架 ，we just use the test scores to evaluate some people， 那永远都没有好的教育。那如果我们可以 focus on everybody's strengths， 我们可以看到每一个人的优势，然后去受那个教育，那当然不会只是比什么，不会比 test scores 而已。所以你们进来这个学校，如果有推甄的人，那个 test scores 占多少？有推甄的人，你的 test score 只占多少？你统测成绩只占多少 ？Just 50%, right? How about the other 50%? Based on your previous performance and your interview, right? And your personal portfolio, your learning portfolio. 所以有推甄的人就知道说，50%不是靠 test score。那是因为我们想要翻转这个观念，所以我们才会有大部分的人都是推甄进来。目前大部分的人都是推甄进来。好，还有没有其他 ？Do you have any other concerns or questions would like to ask this panel？ 有吗？
老师，但是推甄也是要看你的门槛，就是其实跟考试的人差不到大概10分，或是20分来测试。
对，因为是因为要面对全国的学生，他一定要有个 criteria， 他还是一定要有一个 criteria。Then 如果没有一个 criteria， 大家还是说 is unfair， 我比较好，他比较不好，为什么他进？以前3重商工的有一个学生写过一封信给我，他说明明他在学校的分数就比他的同学高，为什么来推甄我们应外系？他的同学上了，他连备取都捞不到。那你们会怎么要你们会怎么回答？他是直接写 email 给我的，你们会怎么回答？3重商工的，他非常生气，而且把这个信呢也寄到给我们学校校长，而且寄到教育部去。对，要你们会怎么回答？他说明明在3重商工，他的分数就比他同班同学好，那为什么他的同学上了我们学校的推甄，跟应外系的推甄，他连我们应外系的备取都捞不到？为什么？
他统测成绩太低了。
他统测成绩没有很低啊。
那他就分班就好了。
你回答的不是他要的答案啊。他问的问题说，他跟别人比，他为什么那个成绩比他差的，在我们的推甄那个人上了，他连备取都捞不到？你要直接回答他的问题呀、
学校不是主观
面试表现不好，还有呢？
其他的活动
Show her grade document.
哦，那个是男的，那个是男3重。我刚才讲那个学生是男的，他讲的对，但他讲的那一个同学是女的。
在校的其他表现，
他的书审我们去查，比那个女的那个同学低了一些。那口试呢，他的分数更低。
对啊。
会有多少个12口试？
所以要推荐的人也要注意什么？就刚才讲的 your creativity 嘛，你是个书呆子，还是你愿意展现你的 strengths 给我们看？甚至口试的时候不是有那个，我就请学生，他说他很喜欢听英文歌嘛，就你可以唱一首给我听吗？有人唱得出来，有人唱不出来哎。然后有人跟我说他很喜欢读英文的阅读，我说好，那哪一本？他就讲不出来，不开口就讲不出来。我说啊，那有的我问他说，那里面那个情节可不可以描述那个 character 给我听呢？就讲不出来，原来都是在那边窟窿，你们知道吗？啊，推甄都要窟窿。那一整天，我从早上到下午6点，我都在干嘛？整校，你们知道什么叫整校还是什么？你们知道从早上到晚上整校还是什么？什么叫整校？啊？你们知道台语整校还是什么？把你当成疯子、窟窿里，他讲一大堆英文，然后你再问他，他就完全 所以这是我们每一个人要改变自己的地方。我们的 strength 到底在哪里？我们每一个人想要的是什么？那这样我去修课，我去上课，我就知道说，我们应该去学什么。如果对自己都不了解，然后只是糊弄说啊，我的 test score 不错啊，我这个糊弄过去就好。那你到底在糊弄自己，还是在糊弄别人？这要想好 ，right？ 好，还有没有其他的？
那最近台湾有没有在就是为了 school out 在争执，说要晚一点上课？那
我觉得我觉得睡觉很重要。我跟你们讲，睡觉很重要，因为睡觉皮肤才会漂亮，睡觉才能够保持青春。像你们看起来都很老，好奇怪，几岁？我觉得你们看起来都很老就是睡眠都不足，你知道吗？所以一定要睡得够，没错，我同意呀。我去北海道的时候，他们小学9点还是10点才去学校，一定要睡够，但不是像你们每次都打电话，爬不起来，然后没办法睡觉。还有皮肤要漂亮，不能吃炸的东西，太难了。potato chips 跟香酥鸡都不能吃。1年只能吃1次。还有，我跟你讲，我最喜欢珍珠奶茶了，我最喜欢 purple tea 了，但1年或半年只能喝1杯。If you are not self-disciplined, but this talk can be a beauty, right? 好，还有没有其他问题？刘姐有问题吗？好 ，OK， 那我们谢谢这个 panel， 好吧？